In the beautiful kingdom of Lunaria, where rivers shimmered like silver ribbons and gardens bloomed all year long, there lived a kind and wise king named King Armon. His palace stood on a golden hill, surrounded by tall towers and singing birds.
Yes.
For many years, King Armon ruled fairly. He listened to the poor, respected the rich, and treated everyone with kindness. The people loved him deeply. But there was one sadness in the palace. The queen had passed away many years ago, and King Armon never remarried. Now he was growing old, and the kingdom needed a new queen, someone who could rule with wisdom, kindness, and courage. One morning, King Armon stood on his balcony looking over the city. "My people deserve a queen who will care for them," he said softly. "But who will become the queen?" That question soon spread across Lunaria like the wind. The next day, royal trumpets echoed through the streets. "Hear ye! Hear ye!" cried the royal messenger. "By order of King Armon, all young women of the kingdom are invited to the palace tomorrow. The king will choose the next queen." The city buzzed with excitement. In homes, markets, schools, and gardens, girls whispered, "Could it be me? What will the queen be like? I want to wear a crown." Some dreamed of luxury, others dreamed of fame, and some dreamed of power. But the king had a different dream. He wanted a queen who had a kind heart, a brave spirit, and a helpful soul. In a small village near the forest lived a gentle girl named Amina. She helped her mother bake bread and her father grow vegetables. Every day she fed stray animals and shared food with neighbors who had less. She did not think much about becoming queen. She said, "Why would the king choose someone like me?" with a shy smile. In the city lived Lena, the daughter of a rich merchant. She loved beautiful dresses, mirrors, jewelry, and attention. She dreamed of becoming queen so everyone would admire her. "I will look the best at the palace," she told her friends proudly. In another part of the kingdom lived Sarah, the daughter of a brave soldier. She trained in horse riding, sword practice, and leadership. She dreamed of becoming queen so she could protect the kingdom and command respect. "I will prove I am the strongest," she said confidently. 3 girls, 3 dreams, but only 1 crown. The next morning, hundreds of girls traveled toward the palace. Carriages rolled, horses galloped, shoes tapped on stone roads. Amina walked on foot with a small bag of bread and water. Along the way, she met an old woman struggling to carry firewood. "Let me help you," Amina said kindly. She carried the heavy bundle all the way to the woman's hut. "Bless you, child. Your kindness will return to you someday." Amina smiled and continued walking. Meanwhile, Lena rode in a golden carriage. When a beggar asked for water, she turned her face away. "I don't want my dress to get dirty," she said. Sarah rode proudly on her horse. When she saw some children fighting on the road, she stopped and shouted, "Stop this at once." The children obeyed, but they were frightened. Sarah felt proud of her authority. All 3 girls reached the palace gates by sunset. None of them knew what awaited inside. Inside the palace, the girls were welcomed into a grand hall filled with crystal chandeliers and long silk curtains. King Armon sat on his throne, watching quietly. "My dear daughters," he said warmly, "I will not choose a queen based on beauty, wealth, or strength alone. I will choose based on heart, mind, and actions." The girls looked at each other nervously. "The first test," the king continued, "is not in this hall, it is outside." The palace doors opened. Guards brought in a tired-looking man with torn clothes. "Please," he said, "I am hungry and cold. Can anyone help me?" Some girls stepped back. Others whispered. Lena wrinkled her nose. "He might be dirty," she whispered to her friend. Sarah crossed her arms. "The palace has servants for this," she said firmly. "Why should we?" But Amina walked forward. She gave the man her bread and wrapped her scarf around his shoulders. "Please eat," she said gently, "and rest." The old man smiled kindly. "Thank you, child." The king watched silently. The next morning, the girls were taken to the royal garden, a place of fountains, roses, butterflies, and singing birds. But something was wrong. Some flowers were wilting, trees were dry, the fountain was clogged. The gardener bowed sadly. "Your Majesty, the garden needs care, but we are short of workers today." The king turned to the girls. "You may help in any way you wish," he said. Lena sighed. "My hands will get dirty," she complained. "I'll sit here and wait." Sarah grabbed a shovel. "I will fix everything myself," she declared. She worked hard, but soon became tired and frustrated. Amina knelt beside the flowers. She gently watered them, cleaned the fountain, and helped the gardener quietly. She encouraged others. "Let's work together," she said kindly. Soon the garden sparkled again. Butterflies returned, flowers bloomed. The gardener smiled gratefully. "Thank you, child." Again, the king noticed everything. That evening, a loud cry echoed through the palace. "The prince is missing!" a guard shouted. The palace filled with panic. King Armand's young grandson, Prince Ryan, had wandered into the palace maze garden and was lost. The king looked worried. "My grandson is scared and alone," he said. "Can any of you help find him?" Sarah immediately stood tall. "I will lead the search," she said confidently. She ordered guards and servants around. Lena stayed back. "I don't want to get lost," she whispered. Amina quietly took a lantern and walked into the maze. "Prince Ryan, don't be afraid," she called softly. Inside the maze, she heard crying. She followed the sound and found the little prince sitting on the ground, trembling. "I can't find my way," he sobbed. Amina knelt beside him. "It's okay," she said gently. "Hold my hand. We'll go together." She sang a soft song to calm him. Soon they reached the palace safely. The king hugged his grandson tightly. Then he looked at Amina with gratitude. The next day, the king invited the remaining girls to a quiet hall filled with books and scrolls. "I will now test your wisdom," he said. He placed 3 sealed boxes on the table. One box contains gold, one contains jewels, one contains a letter of truth. You may choose only one. Lena rushed forward. "I choose gold," she said eagerly. Sarah chose jewels. "I deserve something valuable," she said proudly. Amina chose the letter. "I want knowledge," she said softly. Inside Lena's box was gold, but it turned to dust. Inside Sarah's box were jewels, but they vanished. Inside Amina's box was a letter that read, "The greatest treasure is a kind heart and honest mind." The king smiled. That night, a storm hit Lunaria. Thunder roared, lightning slashed, rain flooded streets. Suddenly, a messenger ran into the palace. "Your Majesty, the river is rising. Villages near the bridge are in danger." The king looked worried. "We must act quickly," he said. Sarah offered to send soldiers. "I will command them," she said. Lena stayed silent. "I don't want to get wet," she whispered. Amina spoke gently. "Let's go help them together," she said. "People are scared." She helped organize food, blankets, boats, and medicine. She comforted children and elderly people. She stayed awake all night helping families reach safety. By morning, the flood had passed. The villagers praised her. "She saved us," they said. "She gave us hope." A few days later, the palace held a grand royal ball. Music played, chandeliers glittered, guests danced across the marble floor. The girls wore beautiful dresses. Lena wore the most expensive gown and jewels. Sarah wore a warrior-style royal outfit. Amina wore a simple, elegant dress. During the ball, the king watched how the girls treated others. Lena only spoke to nobles. Sarah spoke to soldiers, but Amina spoke to everyone, servants, guests, guards, children, musicians, with the same kindness. She helped an elderly guest find a seat. She comforted a nervous child. She thanked the cooks. People smiled wherever she went. Later that night, the king disguised himself as a poor traveler and walked into the palace courtyard where some girls were resting. "Please," he said in a weak voice, "I have no food or shelter. Can anyone help me?" Lena looked away. "I'm tired," she said. Sarah said firmly, "Go to the guard station."